Alright, so it is storming right now. It's like 5 a.m. right now, maybe no. It's 4:30 right now and it is storming, so if you hear stuff in the background, that's why. But today's video is gonna be about how hard your life will be once you start to give your life over to God, right? So once you give up things like any addiction or your lust or anything that you give up to follow God, it'll be the next following weeks, months, days gonna be like the hardest days ever. It's gonna be even more harder than when you were comfortably living inside that sin. Once you start dropping those things, you're gonna want to do it more than ever. Like the next day, the next week, the next month, you're gonna want to do it even more than when you were already doing it and not even thinking twice about it, right? Now that you're conscious of it, now that you're aware of it, even if you do fall into it while you're on your journey, you know, the conviction is going to hit you so much harder now. If you're someone like me who's resisted temptation, been delivered from it, and then returned back to it, it's going to be even more harder for you to resist it now. It's going to be harder for you to run away from it. It's going to be harder for you to put it down, right? It's going to be so much more harder if you're someone like me who's been delivered from it, who's repented for it already, and still returned to their vomit. And so when you get delivered from it this time, make sure that you stay away from it as long as possible, permanently, never go back to it, okay? Though the way that I overcame all of my addictions and temptations is with humility, right? So it started with me humbling myself to God, taking accountability, saying, God, I put myself in this situation. God, I'm struggling with this. God, I'm putting up with this. God, this is what I'm doing. I'm watching these videos, playing with myself, doing this, that, whatever it may be. I took accountability for it and I humbled myself before God. And I told him that I can't do it alone, God. I need your help to do it. I can't do this on my own. I can't do it with my own strength. And then even after repenting, I practiced humility by, like, literally every time I wanted to go back to what I was doing, my lust or my addictions or anything else, every time I wanted to go back, I kept thinking to myself, like, I would rather suffer for doing something righteous, you know, rather suffer from not doing it, you know, feel that, you know, I want to do it so bad, but still not do it. And instead of giving into it, I would read the Bible, or I would write, or I would do something to keep myself distracted. And so humility is, to me, one of the best ways that you can overcome an addiction or overcome your lust or any type of temptation, is by practicing humility, you know. Also, humility is also dying to yourself, you know, dying to your flesh every single day, making yourself a living sacrifice, which means dying to your temptation every day, dying to your addictions every day, dying to talking to that friend group, you know, dying to yourself, dying to your fleshly nature, you know. Breaking free from temptation and your addictions and anything else in that matter will be the hardest, probably be the hardest thing that you've ever done, you know, now that you're so close. It normally is the hardest thing when you first decide to drop it. You know, it gets easier down the road, but when you first decide to give it up, it'll be the hardest thing ever. So if you need to, while you're leaving, you know, this cycle of addiction, temptation, etc., if you have to cut that friend group off, do it. If you have to stop talking to that family, if you have to isolate yourself for a season, do it, because it's worth your salvation, you know. It's worth your eternity. Like, this is not for just, you know, something that's to better yourself. Like, this is for your, like, your eternity. Like, this will decide everything. Letting go or keeping this temptation, this addiction, which is sin. You know, sin when it is full grown leads to death. And so last topic, which is kind of outside of what I'm saying, after you get free, learn how to have the fear of God. You know, a good way to have the fear of God is by learning that God is the only thing alive, only being alive that can kill both your flesh and your soul, right? And so it's amazing, but it's very scary. So know this, that when you're in sin comfortably and you don't even think twice about it, that's a bad thing. If you're feeling conviction, even from watching this video, if you're feeling conviction, or if you feel like you're being punished because of your sin, that is a good thing, okay? Because God punishes those that he loves. If you're feeling conviction of your sin, that is good, because you still have a heart of flesh and not a heart of stone. The Pharisees were hardening their hearts, okay? And they didn't care about sinning anymore, which is so sad, because, you know, sin, when you in sin, you know, and you're living that lifestyle and you don't even care, that's your whole entire eternity that you're playing with. And so, message of today is humility. If you're trying to break a cycle of sin, practice humility. And until next time, peace.